The debate over who will inherit Ronaldo's throne has always been a hot topic. Haaland, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. and the list goes on. But what if I told you the real heir to Messi's legacy is quietly refining his craft in the German league? This season we're seeing it all. The goals, the assists, the skills. But what's behind these jaw-dropping changes? And just how far can this new Messi go? This is why the Bundesliga must fear Jamal Musiala this season. Born in Stuttgart in Germany in 2003, this kid was dribbling through life before he could even say the word football. He spent his early years kicking a ball around the streets and parks of his hometown. But then at the age of 7, his family decided to move to England. Just like that, young Jamal traded bratwurst for fish and chips. Now, moving to a new country at that age? That's no walk in the park. New language, new culture, new everything. But for Jamal, the universal language of football was all he needed. He joined Southampton's academy, which is no small deal. They've got a reputation for grooming serious talent. I mean, they've groomed talent like Gareth Bale, Luke Shaw and Theo Walcott. But it didn't take long for Chelsea to notice him, and in 2011 they brought him into their fold. Here's the thing about Jamal, he wasn't just good, he was mesmerizing. Coaches were blown away by how calm and composed he was on the ball. His dribbling wasn't just flashy, it was smart, like he could see the game 3 steps ahead of everyone else. And Chelsea, they weren't messing around. By the time he was 14, they had him playing with their under-18 team. Think about that. While most kids his age were figuring out algebra, Jamal was schooling players twice his size on the pitch. But here's the thing, as much as Chelsea believed in him, life had other plans for Jamal. England was home, but Germany was calling, and little did anyone know, a twist of fate involving Brexit would set him on a path to become one of Bayern Munich's brightest stars. Jamal was flying high at Chelsea, dominating youth games, getting called up to England's youth teams, and basically making everyone sit up and go, "Who is this kid?" But then, in 2019, out of nowhere, he turned down a new deal with Chelsea. Yeah, you heard that right. At just 16, he decided to pack his bags and head back to Germany. Bold move, right? Now, why would a kid leave one of the biggest clubs in the world to start fresh? Well, this is where the whole Brexit thing comes in. Yeah, I know it sounds more like politics and football, but stay with me. Jamal's mum was studying in England, and Brexit threw a wrench into everything, and at the time it seemed like England was more of a burden than a home. Suddenly, there was all this uncertainty about their future. Would they be able to stay? Would her career take a hit? It was a lot to deal with. At the same time, Bayern Munich came knocking. And let's be real, when Bayern calls, you answer. They offered Jamal a spot in their academy, and more importantly, a clear pathway to first-team football. Even Jamal said this, "Bayern Munich came forward with a good plan on how I was going to gradually go from age group to age group, but made sure I would not be rushed. I trusted what they said and went with it." For Jamal and his family, it wasn't just about football, it was about stability, a fresh start, and a chance to be closer to their roots in Germany. So off he went to Bayern, and let me tell you, this wasn't some smooth, easy transition. He didn't just waltz into the starting 11. Jamal started in Bayern's under-17 team, working under coach Miroslav Klose. And within minutes of his first game, everyone could tell this kid was different. He scored 3 goals in his first 3 matches and was already turning heads. But here's the kicker, Bayern hadn't planned for Jamal to rise this quickly. By the time he was promoted to the under-19s, then the reserve team, people at the club were scrambling to adjust. The scouts, analysts, coaches, they all underestimated just how fast he climbed the ladder. By 2020, he made his professional debut for Bayern's second team, and the rest, as they say, is history. From being a rising star in Chelsea's academy to carving his path at Bayern, Jamal showed that sometimes taking a leap of faith pays off in ways you'd never imagine. And honestly, this was just the beginning. Before we continue, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel, it would really help us. Thank you, and now back to the video. September 18th, 2020, Bayern is playing Schalke and they are obliterating them. Like 7-0 kind of obliterating. Enter Jamal, who at just 17 years and 205 days old, scores his first ever Bundesliga goal and makes it 8-0. Not only does he add to the embarrassment for Schalke, but he also becomes Bayern's youngest goal scorer ever. The record? He smashed Rock Santa Cruz's by almost a full year. Talk about an entrance, right? And it didn't stop there. Less than 2 months later, he made his Champions League debut against Red Bull Salzburg, coming on as a substitute for Thomas Müller. Now imagine stepping onto the field for the reigning European champions. No pressure, right? But Musiala handled it like a pro. Then, just a few weeks after, he earned his first Champions League start in a match against Atletico Madrid. If you haven't been keeping up, you know Atletico doesn't roll over for anyone, but he still shined in the match. Fast forward to February 23, 2021, Bayern is in the Champions League knockout stages against Lazio. Musiala scores, but this wasn't just any goal, it made him the youngest scorer in Champions League history for both Germany and England. Oh, and he also became Bayern's youngest ever scorer in European competition, breaking Samuel Kuffour's record. At this point, it's safe to say the guy was allergic to mediocrity. And Bayern knew it. By March, they locked him down with his first professional contract until 2026. Not bad for a kid who is still a teenager, right? But here's the thing, Jamal didn't stop making history. In the 2021-22 season, he scored a couple of beauties in the DFB Pokal and Bundesliga early on, including a goal against Hertha BSC that made defenders look like they were there for fun. Then, on April 23, 2022, he scored a dagger against Borussia Dortmund in Der Klassiker, sealing Bayern's 10th straight Bundesliga title. Yeah, 10. Pretty casual. And if you thought that was clutch, wait for this. It's May 27, 2023, the last day of the Bundesliga season. Bayern needs a win to win the title against Dortmund. It's 1-1 against FC Köln, 89th minute. Guess who steps up? Jamal Musiala. One moment of brilliance, and Bayern clinches their 11th straight title by goal difference. This guy's built for the big moments. Oh, and let's not forget, he ended the season as Bayern's second top scorer in the league with 12 goals, just behind Serge Gnabry. Not bad for someone who's still not even in his mid-20s. But this season, he's taken it to a whole new level. He's scored over 14 goals this season and had over 6 assists this season, which is quite impressive, seeing that he only had 12 goals and 8 assists in the league last season, despite playing 38 games. His goals and assists this season have made Bayern top their league this season, with them having a 4-point gap over Bayer Leverkusen. At just 21, Musiala has transformed from a promising playmaker into a lethal force, blending artistry with efficiency in ways we rarely see. This season, he's not just dazzling us with his silky dribbles, but making defenders panic with his hunger for goals. How did he go from weaving past defenders like a ballerina to smashing goals like a season number 9? And what's behind this newfound killer instinct? Jamal Musiala under Vincent Kompany is danger. Seriously, it's like someone flipped a switch on him, and now he's out there playing like a mix of a magician and a hitman. Musiala used to be this silky midfield maestro, dancing through defenses and creating trances like a walk in the park. But now he's taken on this second striker role, and it's a total game changer. And guess who's behind this? Yeah, it's Vincent Kompany. The guy has reimagined Musiala's game. Instead of being just a playmaker, he's become this ruthless attacking force. He's got Harry Kane by his side, and the two of them, deadly. It's like they've got this telepathic communication. Kane drops deep, pulls defenders away, and bam, Musiala charges through like a rocket. It's not just pretty dribbles anymore, it's calculated destruction. One moment he's in midfield, and the next he's slicing through the backline. And here's the scary part, he makes it look easy. You know that moment against Bremen? Kane drops back, Musiala spots the gap, and off he goes. Before you know it, the ball's in the net. That's the new Musiala, smarter, sharper, and scarier for anyone to try and stop. Kompany gave him this freedom to roam, to attack, and to be unpredictable, and boy is it working. It's like he's unlocked a cheat code for goals and assists. Honestly, it feels like we're witnessing the birth of a footballing monster, and I am here for it. Musiala has developed a real appetite for goals, and I'm not just talking about tap-in or those right place, right time situations. No, Musiala's out here scoring like he's got a personal vendetta against every goalkeeper in the Bundesliga.
And he does take it again, that's good strong play. Oh, brilliant! That is stunning!
Remember that ridiculous moment against St. Pauli? Musiala wins the ball like it's nothing, spins around faster than you can blink, and boom, game over. The ball's in the back of the net and everyone's left wondering what's happened. And that's what makes him so special. He's not just scoring goals, he's creating moments. Moments that make you sit up and say, wow, this kid is different. This hunger isn't random, he's more intentional now. Instead of dribbling his way into trouble, he's picking his spots, timing his runs, and making sure he's in the right place at the right time. He's not just playing the game, he's reading it, thinking 2 steps ahead of everyone else. Honestly, it's like watching a predator on the pitch. He sees his chances, he pounces, and he doesn't miss. This is Jamal 2.0. Less flair for flair's sake, more ruthless efficiency. And I don't know about you, but I think it's terrifyingly brilliant. When you think of Jamal Musiala, the first thing that comes to mind is those insane dribbles, right? The way he glides past defenders like they're not even there. It's pure magic. Musiala's not just relying on those silky moves anymore, he's evolving. Harry Kane drops deep into midfield, which is a classic Kane move, and suddenly Musiala sees the gap. Now, the old Jamal might have hung around, waiting for a 1-2 or trying to shimmy his way past someone. But the new Jamal? Oh, he's already off, sprinting through that space like a heat-seeking missile. And the best part, he's learning from the best in the game. You've got Thomas Müller, the master of space and positioning, whispering tactical secrets into his ear. Then there's Harry Kane, showing him how to time those killer runs. Musiala's like a sponge, soaking it all in and turning it into goals and assists. Aside from improving his run, his scoring style has changed. He is scoring like a seasoned striker, and no, I'm not exaggerating. This guy's turning into a goal machine, and it's not just luck, it's pure skill and timing. Last season, most of his goals came from outside the penalty area. He'd either glide in or pick his spot and curl it beautifully. But now he's scoring in that prime striker territory, the red zone right in front of the keeper. That's where the magic happens. Remember his header goal? Yeah, a header. Who knew Musiala had that in his locker? He timed his jump perfectly, lost his marker, and boom, straight into the net. I mean, when was the last time we saw Jamal score a header? It's like he's adding new weapons to his arsenal every week. He's learning to be deadly in the box. Instead of hanging back for a potential dribble, he's making those striker runs, finding space and getting into positions where goals are almost guaranteed. Like that run against Bremen, he completely outfoxed his marker and made it look effortless. Oh, and he's not just doing this by chance. You can tell he's been studying his teammate. Harry Kane's timing, it's all rubbing off on him. The result? Musiala's averaging a goal every 123 minutes this season. For a 21-year-old who's technically not even a striker, that's insane. So what we're seeing isn't just a kid who can dribble, we're seeing a player who's becoming the complete package. He's got the creativity, the flair, and now the finishing touch. And let's be honest, if he keeps this up, there's no stopping him, or Bayern. But what do you think? Is this him evolving, or just a purple patch? Well, let me know in the comments, and when you're done with that, watch our last video on why Pep Guardiola regrets selling Julian Alvarez.